So you want a stingy man, but you haven't been stingy with yours. Tune in.
This is the problem with women these days. See, they want something that they can't give. Now, you want me to have all my goddamn future figured out. You want my credits go up. You want me to have real estate. You want all of these things to make sure that we're going to be alive and well in the next 10 years. But I can't talk about your last 10 years? Oh, so you want me to pay top dollar for some cat that you gave away for a shot of Hennessy and some Waffle House 32 times in the past 32 weeks? I say no. Carry your little frisky ass back to the pot.
Worrying about body counts, I'd just be like, why? Whenever it comes to a relationship between you and a woman, you should always be very aware of her past, but also understand that her past doesn't always define who she is today. And it would be disingenuous for you to try and basically judge her for something that she used to do because of the person that she used to be. I truly believe that it is different strokes for different folks. You know, whenever it comes to a person individually, you can't really judge a person for who they used to be. And it varies. So it's not just as general and vague as just making in that statement. Because if you just leave any type of space whatsoever, you're going to have men out here who are going to go the extra mile, maybe 10 miles, and they will automatically reach to the extremes and will say, well, I guess you want a woman who doesn't have 1,400 bodies. Anyways, what are the likes of that happening? But we're going to watch this video. We're going to analyze it. We're going to react to it. We're going to assess it. And before we get into this video, make sure you hit that like button. All right. So without further ado, let's get into it.
I asked you what your body count look like.
Okay.
Why you worry about my body count? That's old shit. Can you feel it? It feel good to you? So what we talk about?
Okay. So you want a stingy man, but you haven't been stingy with yours.
I ain't saying I ain't been stingy. I just said mind your business.
You're focused on my future. The fact of the matter is that you want to make sure that what's your credit score hitting like, bro? You know what I'm saying? You got
I can help you with that.
You got some things going on. What is the plan? What is the dream? So you're focused on my future. I can't focus on your past, so I got to forget your past. Well, forget my future then.
I mean, but you can't compare the two. We talk about my sexual history to your financial stability or your future.
Well,
like
that's
ain't even on the scale tip.
Well, women provide pleasure and men provide provisions. Those are our golden tickets. They're the same thing.
Man,
that's why we provide for y'all to give us pleasure, duh. Let me go ahead and get triggered to then.
This is the problem with women these days. See, they want something that they can't give. Now, you want me to have all my goddamn future figured out. You want my credits go up. You want me to have real estate. You want all of these things to make sure that we're going to be alive and well in the next 10 years. But I can't talk about your last 10 years? Oh, so you want me to pay top dollar for some cat that you gave away for a shot of Hennessy and some Waffle House 32 times in the past 32 weeks? I say no. Carry your little frisky ass back to the pot.
You burnt
I
out.
want that goddamn used ass car. You trying to make me pay goddamn new car prices for that new used ass Nissan Sentra? That's a 96 Sentra. Baby, I drive a goddamn 2023 Bentley. It's not the same. I am not paying the same price. When I'm cooking, I'm cooking.
So before we even get to the beginning of it, right? As they're going back and forth and having this conversation, she talks about how like he's willing to help a man, and she could like put it in there because he was talking about how, oh, but you want me to have this up, and you want me to have this up, and you want me to have my future together, and you want me to have my money together, and you want me to have my act and my career together, but I can't ask you about your past from 10 years ago, from things that you used to do. Now, mind you, I'm 25. I could really care less about who you used to be at 15. You see what I'm saying? When I hit 30, if you are a mature young woman and you have everything together and you're feminine and you got a lot of stuff going for yourself and you have a nice personality and we kicking it, we have a nice vibe, maybe I will be curious on who you used to be when you were 20. But I won't make that a factor into me wanting to be with you. Does that make sense? And we're going to hit back up on that in a second because there was a comment that they had pinned and we're going to assess that. But right here, I truly despise this fallacy of comparing a woman to a used car. And it feeds into this whole conversation and even to the concept of a woman being objectified, being compared to an inanimate object. You cannot compare a woman who is an actual being, who is a reflection of you, to an inanimate object that you can't interact with, you can't communicate with, you can't build a relationship with. And value isn't the same. If you're trying to compare a woman to a car that can be used up, are you saying that you can use a woman up to a point to where you have to find another woman? You see what I'm saying? I understand what you're trying to do. I understand the comparison you're trying to do. But when you're using a car, you run up that mileage individually. It's not just because that car is used by other men that the mileage go up. When you're in that car, you run up that mileage. And after a certain while, you don't want that car anymore. You see what I'm saying? After a certain time, you're going to get a new car. The car that you have today may not be the car that you're going to have in 10 years to come. You will have to update it. You will have to get stuff done to the car. All these other type of things. These are not the same technicalities when it comes to a woman. You feel me? So I truly hate this whole fallacy of a woman being compared to a car. It's just a very poor analogy to make. Now, I will also play on his side and will say that there are some valid points here when it concerns a woman's past. But they're going to get into the comments real quick. But I will say that to some point, there is some form of validity to who a woman used to be or the things that she used to do. I won't say that a woman's past from 10 years ago has any relevancy other than trauma, other than how she has a pattern of treating men, other than things that may have happened to her in her life and she has refused to heal from it and actually identifies more with the pain than to heal from it. That's when past holds relevancy. That's when the past holds weight, is when the past holds weight for her. So if this woman doesn't care about the men that she hurts, if she doesn't care about the people that she's been with, if she refuses to accept that there are certain aspects of herself that she may have developed from other people in her life, from her mother, from her father, that are toxic, and she actually acknowledges it, but then also boasts about it. She boasts about being loud. She boasts about being misunderstanding. She boasts about being narcissistic, manipulative, and so on and so forth. These things actually do matter. So while in a general sense, if you are mature, if you're vibing with that person, if you are building a connection with that person, and y'all actually building a relationship, then to a certain point, her past shouldn't affect you. If you know who she is in the now, if you know that she is not the same person that she used to be from a certain time ago. But if there are patterns that you see up front and in front of you, to realize that person that you say that you grew away from and who you used to be ain't really making much progress. That's when you can call a red flag. That's when you be like, okay, work. And they had tagged this, or they had pinned this comment on their Instagram, and this man says, women say the past doesn't matter, but as soon as they want the white man's job, okay, they submit for a background check, and because the past matters. Past behaviors give an idea of present or future behavior. They respect, understand, they respect men. If that job don't want to collaborate with a shady past, why should a man link with his last name? Basically, why should a man, link up with a woman and give that woman his last name? It says and DNA. Okay, why should a man link his? Now, there are some valid points and there are some invalid points. It is valid to take into consideration of a woman's past, as we have already been over, right? And I have talked about in previous videos and in my podcast that I don't care about a woman's body count. I don't. It's irrelevant. I care more about her sexual health. Does she have sexual trauma, rather than how many men that she has been with. I already know off rip, it is highly unlikely for me to run across a woman, I'm talking about the average woman, of having 500, 600 bodies being ran by a football team. It's just, let's be realistic here. And even if she has that past, a woman actually being open about that and being shameless about that. You see what I'm saying? Anyway, neither here nor there. I'm set on a certain path, and I want to build an actual connection with a woman, that if I'm vibing with a woman, if we kicking it, if we chilling, if we have a bond, you know what I'm saying? if we have a lot of things in common, if I can see potential within this woman, I will be more open to accept all aspects of it, because that is the true, aspect of really connecting with somebody. That's the true aspect with somebody. When you can take them for their flaws, for their bad, or their good. Not to excuse the things that she has done in the past, not to excuse the things that she has went through in the past, or the person that she used to be, but acknowledging the person who she used to be and comparing it to who she is in the now. And once you can see that growth, and once she can be transparent with you about who she used to be in the past, and you can acknowledge that, well, I don't see that in you now. That's where there's a spark. That's when there is going to be longevity in the relationship. But the moment that y'all get into it, and the moment that she gets mad, the moment that she snaps, all of a sudden that old person starts sneaking up. Now you're like, oh, now it's clicking. Because there are some women that they would be transparent about their past. They'd be transparent about the men that she used to be with. They'd be transparent about the many men hearts that they have broken, and the men that they left for another man. And you might take it as like, okay, well, that's who she used to be. And there will be a certain time where you will see her brightest light. You will see the brightest of days in her. The moment that y'all get into it, the moment that there becomes a dark and cloudy and rainy day, that old person might come back. And that's something that you have to take into consideration and acknowledge. That's a conversation that you have to have with her up front. Be transparent. Like, will this person ever creep back up again? Will I have my risking my own personal being, my well-being, my personal mental health? These are things you have to really consider. Acknowledge that you may have had your own personal growth. I've acknowledged that you have grew from who you used to be. But can the person that you used to be creep back up? Can they be raised from the dead? Or have you really put that person or that aspect of yourself to rest? And to understand men on this level and to this point, I do understand why if a woman has a bad past or a wild past, there's certain things that come with that. So it's like, have you truly developed as a person? And almost more likely than not, up front, as soon as y'all get into a minor argument, you'll get into a minor miscalculation, a misunderstanding, and you start seeing certain traits, you start seeing certain things about that person where you're like, ooh, that's a bit of a caution. Be very aware of that. Put that note in the back of your head, like, okay, maybe this person isn't for me. But it's within, like I said, when you're connecting with somebody and you're building with somebody, you're going to see their best of days and their worst of days. And even if certain aspects of themselves creep back up, their flaws, they creep back, if some of their flaws creep back up, you got to have this sort of maturity and self-awareness and discerning within your spirit of, can I really build with this person despite who they used to be, or certain character flaws that they have in the now? And some men, to counter this type of perspective, some men do not have the maturity to accept a woman for their flaws and their perfections. Some men haven't healed from their own flaws, from their own trauma. So if they can't heal from themselves or from their own trauma and their own their own mistakes, if they haven't even acknowledged their own character flaws, how can they accept a woman for hers? Do you feel me? Can somebody, do you hear me? If a man can't even accept his own character flaws, if he can't accept the things that have happened to him in the past, if he can't even heal from his wounds, from people that may have done him wrong, for women who may have broke his heart, even for him, maybe he have let himself down personally at certain times. If he can't even accept himself when he falls, how can he accept a woman when she falls from grace, when she may not be the best of the best on certain days? And so these are things that you really have to really take into consideration and really think out and really talk about and really reflect on these type of ideas and these things, because what social media will do is they will have you miss out on your blessings. and they will have you run off good women just because of little hiccups that they may have had along the way. And I guarantee you, if you treat women like how Krishna and Dionysus and Jesus treated women, you will get the best out of women, to such a point that that woman will be loyal to you till the end. It shows in the stories. When a woman falls from grace, you give her more grace. And not to say that you should excuse women when they I shouldn't say misbehave, but when they act out of character, or to take a woman's BS. I'm not telling you to accept that. I'm not telling you to accept a woman's, she manipulates you, or when she tries to deflect from taking accountability. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when you building a connection with a woman and she may not be on her best day. She may not be on her 10 toes. She might be on 5. There might be a time where y'all going back and forth, y'all having a disagreement, and she ain't acting the best, but she'll come back around and will apologize. She'll come back around and she will reflect on her character as a person and be like, I didn't show my best self today. I shouldn't have talked to you this way. I shouldn't have came about the situation that way, and I apologize and I'm sorry. That's when you got a good woman. That's when you can give grace. That's when you can give humility. Don't be giving out your grace and humility to women who don't even value you, Negroid. You feel me? Don't give your time, attention, respect, value to a woman that can't even respect you on your best day and your worst day. A woman who ain't even looking to try and meet you where you at, trying to understand you, build within you. The moment that you fall off, the moment that you slip up, she got eyes in different places. Now she looking elsewhere. That quick? And there are women out there like that. So to conclude this, I understand from both perspectives. I understand the men who have to be very wary of a woman's past because of women that they have also messed with in the past, of their own future, of their life that they have to preserve. Because they're like, well, if you used to be doing this 5-10 years ago, even 2 to 3 years ago is even worse. How do I know that person won't creep back up again? How do I know that this isn't a reoccurring thing? This is a cycle. These are things you have to take into consideration. But on a spiritual spectrum, on a mystical spectrum, whenever it comes to this Christ and Madeline negotiation, there are women out here who have seen the light of day. They have done their own personal evaluation and work on themselves. And so there are women out here who truly value a man's work. They truly value a man's character. And there are some women who are working on that journey, and you can come into their life and help them along the way. You could show them the way. And every man loves to show a woman or teach a woman something. I know, I would know. Every man loves to teach a woman something. So if you could just be that person that she can look to for direction, that she can look to for advice, or that she can look to better herself as the divine feminine, the more the merrier. But that's all I gotta say for this video. Y'all let me know how y'all personally feel about this topic at hand. Does body count matter? Does a woman's past matter? You can either agree on both spectrums. Am I right? Am I wrong? I can't play the middle ground. You know what I'm saying? But let me know how you feel about this. Make sure you like the video. Share this with a couple of people so we can spread more of this conversation. But before you go though, you might want to check this video because you don't want to miss that one. Till next time.